Picture a person who has spent decades building walls around their heart. Someone who decided long ago that warmth was weakness, that kindness was foolish, that the only thing worth pursuing was security and gain. From the outside, this person seems untouchable, hardened beyond reach. But what if, in a single night, they were forced to look at their entire life, the past that shaped them, the present they are ignoring, and the future they are racing toward? Would the walls hold, or something long buried finally crack open? This question drives one of the most beloved stories ever written, a tale that has been retold countless times because the transformation at its heart speaks to something everyone quietly hopes is possible. That story is A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens, a short novel that became one of the most enduring tales of redemption in the English language. It follows a cold, miserly man who has shut himself off from human warmth, and the single extraordinary night in which he is confronted by visions of his past, present, and future, and given the chance to change. Beneath its familiar surface lies a profound exploration of regret, isolation, and the human capacity for transformation, no matter how late it seems. From the start, the book studies the psychology of a hardened heart and how it came to be that way. The central character did not begin life as cold and closed off. The story reveals a younger version of him who was hopeful, capable of love, wounded by loss and disappointment along the way. The author shows how bitterness is rarely something a person is born with. It is something that accumulates, layer by layer, through pain that was never healed. This is a deeply compassionate way to understand the difficult, closed-off people in the world. Their hardness is usually a scar, not a nature. Have you ever considered that the coldest person you know might have once been the warmest before something taught them to stop feeling? The novel also explores the way isolation slowly poisons a life. The main character has cut himself off from family, from community, from every form of human connection, convincing himself he needs no one. And the story shows the quiet devastation of that choice. His wealth has brought him nothing that matters. His days are empty of warmth, his nights cold and alone. The author examines how a person can mistake self-sufficiency for strength, building a fortress that keeps out not only pain, but also love. It raises a piercing question. What walls have you built to protect yourself, and what warmth might those same walls be keeping out? One of the book's most powerful devices is the confrontation with the past. The visions of his earlier life force the main character to see the moments where his heart began to close, the choices that led him away from love and toward gain. The author uses this to explore how revisiting our own history with honesty can be both painful and healing. Looking clearly at where we went wrong, at the love we let slip away, can awaken something that has gone numb. There is real psychological truth here. Facing the past rather than burying it is often the first step towards genuine change. The story invites you to wonder which moments in your own past you have avoided looking at and what they might reveal if you finally did. The vision of the present deepens the story's emotional power by showing the main character what he has been blind to. He sees the quiet struggles and the genuine warmth of the people around him, the joy that exists in lives far poorer than his own, the love he has been excluding himself from. The author uses this to explore how a person consumed by their narrow concerns can become blind to the richness of life happening all around them. The cure for that blindness is simply to look, to truly see the people nearby and the warmth they carry. It asks you to consider what you might be overlooking in your own present, what beauty and connection exist just outside the narrow focus of your daily worries. The vision of the future carries the heaviest weight of all.
The main character is shown where his current path leads, a lonely end, unmourned and unloved, with nothing of value left behind. This glimpse of a possible future is what finally breaks through his defenses. The author uses it to explore a profound truth about human change. Sometimes we cannot alter our course until we are forced to see, vividly and unmistakably, where that course is taking us. The fear of a wasted life, of dying having mattered to no one, becomes the catalyst for transformation. It raises a sobering question worth sitting with. If you could see clearly where your current path is leading, would it be a future you would want to arrive at?
The narrative structure, built around past, present, and future, is itself a kind of map of how transformation works. The story suggests that real change requires understanding where you came from, seeing clearly where you are, and honestly facing where you are headed. The author weaves these three perspectives together to show that a person cannot truly change by focusing on only one. The past explains the wound, the present reveals what is being missed, and the future provides the urgency. It is a quietly brilliant model of self-examination, suggesting that lasting change comes from holding all three of these views of a life at once. There is also a deeply hopeful emotional arc at the center of the book, and it is the reason the story has been loved for so long. The main character is not condemned for his coldness. He is given a chance to change, and he takes it, discovering that it is never too late to open a closed heart. The author insists, against all cynicism, that transformation is possible, that even a person who has spent a lifetime shut off from warmth can learn to feel again. This is the story's most enduring gift, its refusal to write anyone off as beyond redemption. It suggests that the capacity to change, to soften, to begin again, remains alive in a person no matter how late the hour seems. The book also explores the joy that comes from giving and connection once the heart finally opens. When the main character changes, his transformation expresses itself not in grand declarations, but in generosity, in reaching out, in rejoining the human community he had abandoned. The author shows that the cure for a cold and empty life is found in warmth offered to others, in the simple acts of kindness and connection that the character had denied himself for so long. It is a gentle reminder that the things that make a life feel meaningful are rarely about accumulation and almost always about how we treat the people within our reach. The recurring contrast between cold and warmth runs through the book as a guiding symbol. The main character is associated with cold, with frost and chill and a fireless room, while the people who still know how to love are surrounded by warmth, light, and the heat of human company. The author uses this physical imagery to make an emotional truth visible. A heart closed to others becomes literally cold in the world of the story, while an open heart radiates warmth. The cold is not just weather, it is the temperature of a soul that has shut itself away. This vivid symbolism invites you to feel, rather than merely understand, the difference between a life lived in connection and a life lived in isolation. The minor characters around the main figure serve as quiet mirrors that reveal what he has lost. A poor but loving family, joyful despite their hardship, and a warm-hearted relative who refuses to give up on him show what genuine richness looks like, the kind that has nothing to do with money. The author uses these foils to expose the emptiness of a life measured only in wealth. Standing beside people who have so little yet love so freely, the main character's hollow prosperity is laid bare.
The story explores how true abundance is found in relationships and generosity rather than in accumulation, and it invites you to consider which kind of wealth you have been spending your life pursuing. There is also a powerful idea embedded in the way the visions function as a kind of awakened conscience. The figures who guide the main character through his life are, in a sense, the voice of everything he has refused to feel, the memory, regret, and moral awareness he has buried. The author dramatizes the inner reckoning that can happen when a person is finally forced to confront the truth about themselves. The story externalizes conscience, making visible the internal process by which a person comes to face with who they have become. It suggests that buried inside even the hardest heart is a witness that remembers everything, waiting for the moment it can finally be heard. In the end, A Christmas Carol leaves you with a stubborn, glowing hope. It suggests that no heart is too hardened to soften, that facing your past and your future honestly can awaken what has gone numb, and that it is never too late to choose warmth over coldness, connection over isolation. A story that insists on the possibility of change, even for those who seem beyond it, offers something the world badly needs to be reminded of. Books aren't just stories, they're mirrors that help us understand ourselves better. Comment below with the book you would like explored next and the kind of transformation you most believe a person is capable of. If this thoughtful kind of book analysis means something to you, consider liking and subscribing so more of it can reach you. This video uses AI-generated audio and visuals for educational purposes only. This is just one reader's personal thoughts and interpretations.